Okay. So, thank you everyone for coming here. I'm really glad to be back in Devox, actually, to talk about something we've been working on for the last year. So maybe some of you already know us from the Play framework. So we created the Play framework. Basically, we work for the company that the name is Zenexity, the company that created the Play framework. Guillaume Bort is the founder, and then I joined him for Play 2. And since last year, we've been working on a completely another problem that is related to programming and doing applications and all of that. But it's a problem that we think that is unsolved until now. So that's what we'll be talking about. So it all starts with a very, very simple question, right? The simple question is how do you do with your app whenever you have manageable content? Now, what does that mean, manageable content in an app? So basically, if you have a web app, a native app, let's talk about maybe a website, or even a game that completely runs in the browser, whatever, no matter how crazy your technology is, and then you have a little bit of content somewhere that you need to manage. Now, what does it mean, manage? It means like you need to change the content without changing the code, right? It's very basic, right? You have some text there, you need to fix some typos, you need to evolve this text, add new content, these kind of things. That's what we call manageable content, right? And as soon as you think about manageable content in your app, you're actually in front of one of three choices, okay? So the first thing you would say to yourself is like, hey, I mean, content is data, and data goes in database, and I'm not going to do anything like from the CMS world that we'll be talking about later, but I will be doing everything myself. So I will go like take my content, put it in the database, and it's a bit naive because you will find yourself then like asking yourself questions like how can my content writers edit that content, modify it, add new content? How can they version it? How can they publish it? And you start implementing more and more of this stuff until you understand that you actually underestimated the problem of managing content, right? You'll be writing your own CMS, which is really a huge thing to build, right? And that's the first choice, getting into the complexity of implementing a content management system. The other thing you might think about is like, okay, I mean, I'm not going to implement this myself. Let's see what is there out there in technology to help me do that. And then you will pick up what we call a CMS, a content management system, right? So I guess most of you know what content management system is. You like your technology, whatever it is, Scala, Java, Play, Spring MVC, JavaScript, whatever your technology. The moment you choose to integrate a CMS is exactly the moment at which you will abandon your technology, your favorite technology, because this CMS will come with its own framework, its own ways of doing stuff. You need to think about modules that can solve your problems, your functionalities. You're entering what we call a CMS hell, right? CMS hell is abandoning all your practices, all your skills to enter into a new world that is very static and not moving a lot with the new technologies and browser advancement and so on. So that's the second choice, right? And then when you're in front of these two choices, sometimes you abandon it all. And you say like, okay, I'm just putting content in the code and I don't care. I'm not going into any of this complexity. And that's very, kind of disparate choice because, you can't do any other way, right? So that's exactly the problem that we thought like it's really painful to work with content. Not only in the Java world, actually, in any community, in any technology, whenever you have content, you have the CMS problem. And the problem is fundamental. There is a fundamental design problem into what we call a content management system. Now, what we call content management system is it starts by like so there's a problem in the concept, right? That's what we're basically saying. So a content management system tries to do way too many things. Okay, it tries to manage content in a way, whatever it calls managing content, and then it tries to generate for you the interface. And that's way too many things, right? It's basically historical, the problem. The problem is that that's the way CMSs started. They wanted to help you do front end, right? Together with a little bit of managing content. And that's not the problem anymore. I mean, front end, I mean, come on, you can do front end the way you want to do it, right? You pick up your favorite framework, Java framework or JavaScript, whatever it is, and you're all set. And you do, like, if you're doing web, you do CSS, JavaScript, and you have all the tools you need to do your front end. You don't need a CMS to tell you how to do a front end, especially in the world of today. You have an iOS application, well, that's easy. You pick up the technology for the, for developing apps on iOS, and that's it. You don't need to solve the front end problem. What you want to solve is the content management problem. And it turns out that CMSs solve that very badly as well. So this is the fundamental problem, is that, when they talk about managing content, well, there are a lot of things lacking. You don't have a nice editor so that your users start editing content. So basically, your users, like content editors, will be like crossing their fingers whenever they have to publish any content. It's kind of scary. Now I'm in the CMS thing, and I have to get out of this as soon as I can. This kind of feeling. And, publishing, versioning, experimenting with content, all of these things, these are what content management is about, right? So we thought, it's simple. The concept, if we change this misunderstanding about the concept, then we can solve the problem. So let's say, all what we are interested in is solving the content problem. So the content management problem. So let's separate the problem into the writing room, okay, where your users will be having an editor and all the tools they need to be a media library, and we will go through it more in details throughout the example, the live coding. So you have the writing room where you manage your content, and then you have an API, and that API will allow you to query your content in all kinds of ways, to do searches, to put some filters, whatever it is, to bring this content and throw it at your front-end technology. So that's the concept. We call it Writing Room and Content Query API. And this talk is doing a live example into showing you how interesting it is if we take this kind of approach, and how friendly it is to all our existing tools and technologies. So basically, we're talking here about Prismic.io, again, the project we've been working on for the last year. And it's basically exactly what I told you. So pretty technology agnostic. You can choose your framework, your technology, whatever you want, because it's API based, right? It's kind of obvious, actually. And then whenever you get, right now, if you have internet or after the talk, all what you have to do is create, there is an invite. It's now in private beta. What you have to do is to request an invite, and you'll get it very fast. And then what you can do is basically create your account, and then you will get into creating your own repositories. And that's where the content will be living, right?
Okay. So, we start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I just signed to the prismic.io dashboard. And from here, I can create a new content repository, or I have the choice to fork an existing example called Leben Shows. This is a sample repository with already a lot of content about a pastry shop in this repo. So I will connect to what we call the writing room. If you can explain what's the writing room.
So basically, first of all, what we did here is that we provide you with an example of a content repository so that you can play along with it and see how does it look like, the writing room from the inside. So whenever you get your account, you can fork it and you can see these products. You can go ahead and change them, make some modifications, publish them. Now the writing room is where your content evolves. It's like a content writer will go into the writing room and will start writing content, modifying content, and so on. So that's the writing room. You can call it the back end of this concept. So basically, here we have different content, different documents. We call them. We have a cupcake. We have macarons. We have some pies, and then any of these we can open it and then edit it inside this editor. And we see something very important here is that the editor is a structured editor, structured content editor, which means that we don't have content as a HTML or any other visualization, presentation technology. It's JSON actually. So it's a structure. It has a title. It has elements into that document that you specify and then you fill inside it. And even if it's structured, the editor does look very comfy, for any content editor. And that's very important for managing content. A comfy editor.
Yeah. So from here, what I want to do is to create a Java application that display all the chocolate pastries I have in this content repository. So to do that, we go to our developer portal, and you will see you have the choice by using several technology here.
So basically what we got is a web API, but we still provide you with development kits so that you can develop without even doing the web calls yourself. We do them for you. For instance, you pick up your development kit, and then you're all set. Once you download it, you are set for starting developing, with a native feel to your technology. Yeah. So here in Java.
Here in Java, I have a Java kit, so it's a minimal Java library to integrate with any Java application you want, and we have some starter project ready to use, one for Play Framework and one for Spring MVC. Here I will use the Play one. So it's just a GitHub repository. I will clone it locally. And I will run it. So here in the configuration file, I have to connect it to an existing prismic.io content repository. I will choose the one I just created. So it's this name.
Can you improve that size maybe? Font? Okay.
So this is your content query API endpoint. And now I can just run this starter project and display the home page.
So by default, in this starter kit, what will happen is that it will display all the documents you got, right, Guillaume?
Yeah. It just displays a basic list because it doesn't know anything about your content structure. So it just displays a list of content slug.
So basically all the documents, and it registers the slugs in these documents. And then you can go in the document and browse it. So basically very generic kind of things to show you how to integrate, how to start with the Prismic IO repository.
So yeah, I will make a few changes to this starter project to make my chocolate pastries page. So I will call it the best of chocolate.
So basically what we're trying to create here is a website that only integrates everything that is chocolate based, right? We are doing like a sub shop of our shop that is only concerned with chocolate products. That's what we're doing.
So to do that, I have to query the content repository to select only products that are chocolate pastries. So I can use our API browser here to prepare my request.
So that's one of the very interesting things that we integrate is a web browser, a browser for your API so that you can compose your queries and test them before, like pasting them in your code and start and running them. So basically here, it's what we say is predicate based. So the first predicate, it says like, I want all the documents that have the type product. And the type product is basically the type of the document of what you get. We talked about structured data and structured content, right? And the second will say everything that has a flavor of chocolate. Now, we have two predicates. We'll run these two predicates, and we'll give you the content that corresponds to these conditions. So basically here we got all the documents that are products of flavored chocolate.
Yeah. So I will do the same in the Java code.
So basically, as you saw in the browser, you can see it in HTML, but also you can see it in JSON. Yeah. If you're more interested in to see what the JSON structure that you're getting.
Yeah, it is. So in the Java code, I will do the same. So basically, our API is form-based. So I take a form, and we have several forms representing several product collection. We have on our content repository, and here I will use the product form.
So basically, you can imagine it exactly like HTML forms in a website, right? You got different forms, you choose a form, and then you fill it in. That's what we call Restful API. Basically, you choose a form, and then you add predicates on top of that. You fill that form with predicates, right? And now we chose the product form, and we add a predicate on it for the flavor chocolate.
Yeah. So it submits the form, and as a response, it gets a list of documents. So I refresh my app here. And here we go. We have only 5 documents are chocolate pastries. So I know that these documents are product, and here I can check the document structure. I see there is a name, there is an image here, and in this image we have several views of the image. We have the main view and the icon view, and we have a price here.
So basically, what about like trying to make our shop look better than just the titles? Maybe we need to search for more data inside that document and show like something more interesting about our chocolate products.
Yeah. So here, I will ask the API to get the product.name field as HTML, because this product.name field is what we call a structured text.
So basically, it has
field.
structure. And the structure is not HTML or anything, it's just structure. It tells like this is a blog, this is supposed to be a paragraph, it's supposed to be a heading, and so on. And then we say like, okay, just give me that structure as HTML, so it will like render it as HTML.
Yeah. And to do that, I have to give an optional parameter that is a link resolver. In case of the structure content contains some links to other documents, this link resolver allow to resolve this link in this particular front end.
Basically, just to say very fast, what is it? It's like your documents, they will be linking to each other with document IDs. They will not having hard links inside. And then at the client side, whenever you're integrating with your technology, front-end technology, you will be providing something, the links resolver, which will like decide what is the hard-coded link that you should display for that particular document ID.
Yeah, and to do that, you can use whatever you want. And in the play application, you will use the play reverse routing mechanism to resolve the links. So I have the product name. I will add the product image. So I will ask for an image. This is product.image, and I have to specify a view. So I have a main view and an icon view, and I will just get the URL from this image.
Now we get the images, but what's interesting here is that what you're seeing is not any particular technology. We chose here to work with Play Framework, and this is the templating system of Play Framework. But you can do it the same way with any framework you want. It's basically about just getting the right fields and throwing them into your into your presentation.
Yeah, you will find this starter project, this blank starter project for many web framework in many technology currently. So I will just add the price as the last item to show. So I use a strong tag here.
So basically, if you don't know exactly what in the document, you will go to the API browser, and you will like look at the structure and decide like, okay, there is a price thing that I would like to say in my content, and it's of type structured text, and I know that structured text has a header and title and so on.
Okay, here we are. So it's just a basic listing of this product. I have prepared already a CSS to just display this nicely. So it's a less file. As it is a play application, I just have to create an assets folder here. It's a style sheet in it. And it will automatically compile any less CSS file put here. And I just have to delete this one. Okay. Okay. So we have the CSS that just displays the same list as before, but just
much nicer.
Yeah, much nicer. what I want to do now is to create a new product for this list. From the
Basically, now we get back to the writing room. It's a content writer that is adding a new product into our product list, right? It's manageable context, so we can add a new product. So let's go ahead and do it.
But I don't know how to do it on the live version of my website. So I will create a release for that.
So imagine like we're experimenting with a new product, and we want to see like how does it look, description on the website before we publish it to everyone, right? It's kind of, it's not a publication. It's you know, kind of, you can imagine it as, you know, a private view of the website of some changes applied.
Yeah,
so we create something we call a release, and that's exactly what is it for. It's like to group a set of changes, and whenever we have this set of changes, we can choose to preview our website at that stage, you know, even before publishing it. So we're basically previewing our website in the future. You know, how will it happen in the future?
So we create it. To create brownies, a short description. So this is a delicious chocolate brownie with nuts, and we provide an image here. So I prepared the image, this image. Okay, so this is the main view, and this is the icon view. For the icon view,
basically it's way maybe too small. Let's get it bigger. And that's a nice thing also about a content management tool, is that you need to be able to do these kind of things inside that writing room that we're talking about.
And I will add these two metadata. So this is the price, and add chocolate as a flavor for this product.
Now we go ahead and save it, and then what we will do is like push it into that release that we prepared. You know, it's like a change that is not going public, but rather going into that release.
Yeah. So
now if we go back to the release, we click on that release, and we see that we have only one change that is adding that document into the content. Yeah. Now we can go to the website, and the nice thing with the starter kit is that, so basically here we don't see it yet, right? But with the starter kit, there is kind of a little mechanism. It's very easy to implement, actually. You can implement it for any technology. It's very easy. It's just about passing the right ID of the version of content you are displaying, and it's integrated inside this starter kit so that you can sign in, and basically you will have, if you sign in, then you will be having the choice of different releases you have. You can choose one, and then you can display what's happening in that release. Yeah.
So just before that, I have to create an OAuth application that will connect to this content repository. So it will have a client ID. So that's just OAuth.
Basic OAuth to
So yeah.
Authentication.
The client ID and the client secret for this.
Because actually, since mostly releases are something secret for you, you know, you're working on something secret and you don't want people to know about, whenever you try to access to them, you have to have the writing room asking you, do you want to authorize the access of this level of the API? It's a different level of security at your API. Now you authorize it, and now you have access, and you will see a menu appearing that will allow you to choose whatever release you want to. So if we choose that release with the chocolate, so we have the brownie, right? Yeah. So we have it there. And that's really nice, right? We didn't have to invent anything. It's just easy. It's just, as it's API based and it's versioned, you just have to pass the right identifier, and it will give you, you know, this is the identifier. You see it in the browser up there. We call it the ref. And that's what allows you to do your queries on the right version of your content.
Okay. I will quickly add a new feature to this website by allowing to write some special offer on this product. So to do that, I have to modify the document structure, what we call document mask here.
So this is basically your document type, or the mask, you know, whatever the things that you want to be writing whenever you have you write this kind of type of documents.
Yeah. So I create a new field called special offer. I just put a label here for my content writer, and I can specify a type for this field, and I will just use text here. Right away, I can test. I can see how my this new content structure will appear in the
editor.
In the editor.
So I guess we can save it.
And I will take like my new chocolate brownie.
Now we can go ahead and start a new version, and maybe we will put a special offer in that.
And get a gift box. Okay, I save it. And so I will publish it right away this time, directly.
Did you publish the brownie? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just published the brownie, so I can disconnect from this preview.
You don't need it anymore because now the brownie is public. It's out there.
Yeah. So I have this new field, and I will just display it here in this template. So if document.get product.special offer is not null. I just put this new DOM element here in the template. And here it is, this document has this new special offer badge right now.
So you see, like, the idea here is that we didn't change any programming habit. We're just using the way, we're writing exactly in the same way that we write any apps. Whenever we have content, then we use that API to pull content. We define our content structure. We let content writers put content and modify it in there, and we use the API to integrate it in any app. And what you see here is just one version of that content repository, but you can see that there is also, the website of another website that is based exactly on the same repository that is maybe a little bit prettier. And that website is just, again, using that API. It has like some authorization. It's maybe you don't have internet. But anyway, this website, you get it also yourself whenever you fork Leboncho's repository. And you see, like, it's completely different thing, but just, like, it's obvious. It's using the API, doing its query, and integrating into, and we see the same product. We added it here, and we added it there in the same time, right? And now you can imagine also, like, if you have a mobile app or any other, like, apps that connect to the same repository, everything happens at the same time. So there's a lot in there. I mean, that's what we could fit into 30 minutes. Basically, we have a blog post that explains some aspects, and we'll be also more explaining some aspects of the architecture, some aspect of the concept. We have videos that help you starting with it, experimenting with it. We have an example, and we'll be adding more examples like Leboncho's that will help you understand how can you create your own applications with Prismic.io. You can also, there's a lot of documentation, and don't hesitate to ask questions. In your repository, you can ask questions, whatever question you have. I mean, again, there's a lot in there. There's a lot about like versioning, about how the editor works, how the API works, how can we guarantee high availability and scalability, and we'll be detailing more on the blog post. So I guess what you can do is like just fork your repo and experiment with it, and I don't know if we can have any questions. Any questions? Okay, maybe after. So anyway, there's one. Yeah, go ahead.
So that's not open source, so how much does it cost?
So you can see, we're working on the pricing. Basically, for as long as you're a developer, which means like you're writing some code and it's not in production, it's for free. So that's the first thing. We would like to also support like open source communities and open content communities. So we'll be offering like also free accounts for free repositories for these. Then the pricing will start you know, for something really personal, like, you know, very, like you're working on your own and you put something in production, it will be like something like maybe $10 or something like that monthly, and then it will go. But anyway, we're still working on the pricing. There is a pricing here, but we're still like thinking a lot about how to make the pricing that is acceptable for the community, you know. But what we want is that developers experiment with it with no risk at all, you know, that they can play with these ideas. Because again, I mean, of course we have the product, but what we care mostly about is the concept, right? Is getting out of this, like what we call CMS hell, and, you know, experiment with this idea that we're completely separating between content management and, you know, front-end development, so whatever technology you use. Any other questions? None? Okay. I mean, we can have questions afterwards. So maybe thank you for being here, and, you know, request your accounts.
Yeah.